What is up, Planeswalkers? Theoric6 back with some more new player deck upgrades. Today we're going to be doing the red-white deck. As always, if you don't want to see the DeckTech, you will find timestamps in the description below to the actual games. Anyway, the red-white deck for new players was essentially a red-white enchantments and artifact kind of aggressive deck. This is actually a deck that sees like actual play, so it was kind of easy to figure out like how to upgrade. That said, of course, there are some rare cards that you kind of want. I made this specific version, although I do know some versions play like Burn, for example. So this deck doesn't have as much reach, but it's a fun deck anyway. This deck currently is not like a very high tier deck, but it's very fun for people who like to equip up their creatures. So I guess we'll jump into it. How should I attack this one? Let's go with creatures first. So we're playing 18 creatures. That's about how many I found that you kind of need to make sure you're able to hit your equips and enchants. So we're running Novice Knight. Now, I actually didn't see a lot of other people play Novice Knight, but I found that it's very helpful against the aggro decks, where they can kind of just play things really quickly and just burst us down. Novice Knight is really strong and helps, and late game you're able to just like actually attack with it. So I've found it to be actually fine. So if you don't like it, you can play another card, potentially more Adanto Vanguards. Vanguard's very nice because as long as it's against kill removal, damage, or just things that say destroy target creature, you are able to pay some life to make sure it doesn't die. Obviously, this doesn't affect enchantment removal, so things like Seal Away and Excellence Binding, those can still hit this card, but the fact that it's a little bit more difficult for your opponents to answer is very strong, so it makes it so it's harder to get 2-for-1 when your opponent when you try to enchant or equip it. Champion of the Flame just gets stronger. Putting a single card on this makes it minimum 3/3. If you put, for example, a short sword on it, it just becomes a 4 power creature, potentially attacking on turn 3 with trample. That's very strong. It's the aggressive card in this deck. Yeah, very, very strong. It just gets buffed so hard. Danitha, I just keep saying everything's strong. Danitha is the kind of controlier card. She's the one that will give you the most bang for your buck because she has lifelink. The ability to have innate lifelink and you don't have to get it from Squire's Devotion or on Sarah's Wings is very nice. The fact that she has First Strike means that she's going to do a lot in creature combat, and the fact that she has Vigilance means that you can kind of attack with impunity, knowing that you'll have this blocker, and also knowing, very importantly, that your opponent can't seal it away. The fact that this has Vigilance is very strong when a lot of your creatures do suffer against Seal Away quite a bit. As I said, Adanto Vanguard can take destructive removal, but he still gets removed by Seal Away. So Danitha also, importantly, makes it so that your spells are cheaper to cast, and that's always nice. It means that you're able to potentially double up on a single turn. So if you play Danitha, next turn you can follow up with, let's say, a double short sword plus a Squire's Devotion, right? So that'd be 4 total mana. It's very, very, very strong. Valduk, Keeper of the Flame, he is the more aggressive one. For each aura and equipment attached to him, you get a 3/1 with Trample and Haste. So pretty much, you don't even have to attack with him ever. So once again, you don't have to necessarily worry about Seal Away. You just dump a bunch of stuff onto him, and then you get value with creatures who you don't care about. They're going to go away at the end of turn anyway. They have Trample, which is nice, so they can't be chump blocked as easily. This can just add up. It's very nice, very, very strong. Tiana, ship's Caretaker. I was debating whether or not I wanted to keep this card in. I decided to do so because, angels are fun, angels are cool, and she played a fun role in the story, in the Dominaria story, so I wanted to include her. 5 mana, 3/3 First Strike. The First Strike is, as I said, very helpful. Her stats are a little low, but we are playing in Artifact Enchantment deck, so she'll get a little bit bigger, but very luckily, whenever an order equipment you control is put into the graveyard from battlefield, you can return it to your owner's hand at the next end step. This means essentially, if it's going to happen more for auras, but it means that if you say put a bunch of auras on Champion of Flame and then you play Tiana, if your opponent like has to remove Champion of Flame and you lose all of those auras, or those auras attached to it, you'll get those auras back. So it kind of mitigates the inherent weakness in a deck like this. And I need to say, the inherent weakness in a deck like this is removal can just shut you down, because you do only have so many creatures, and a lot of the cards you're going to be drawing, you're going to need to put onto those creatures, and if those creatures die, well, that's kind of lame. But we can mitigate this somewhat, and the way we mitigate it is by playing cards that make other guys. So Cartouche of Solidarity gives our creature +1/+1, it has first strike. That's not a ton, it is fine. This becomes a 3/4 first strike, that's decent. This becomes, while it's attacking, math is easy, a 4/1, 4/2 first strike. And this is actually where it's really good. So it's +3/+3 total. So it's a 4/4 first strike trampler. It's real nice. But it also gives us a 1/1 warrior creature token with vigilance. And we talked a little bit already about how important vigilance is in a deck like this because Seal Away is harsh. So this gets rid of that. Squire's Devotion, likewise, makes a 1/1 vampire. However, this one has lifelink. And instead of giving your creature first strike, it gives them lifelink. So this is a real nice way to get back in the game. If you do something like put it on an Adanto Vanguard, it means that you're going to be attacking for 4 at the very minimum, and he can pay for itself, right? You're going to be gaining 4 life every turn unless wonky things happen, and you can just keep making sure he survives. You can put it on Danitha, and that's 3 power on attack and 3 power on defense that has lifelink. It's very nice. And of course, you get an additional creature. So if the original creature you had on it gets killed, you have another thing to put. Let's see. Yeah. So then we have Cartouche of Zeal. This is a kind of aggressive card. If your opponent has some big dude that you just can't get through, you can make it so it can't block. Very helpful. A lot of our creatures are kind of small. Unless we give them evasion, they don't have evasion naturally. So being able to just say, yeah, your biggest creature, no, you can't block with that, is very helpful. The haste almost never is going to matter. However, you can theoretically do something like play out a Danitha, play out a Cartouche, have a nice 3/3 first strike vigilance lifelink creature with haste, and that's going to guarantee get through. So that does happen sometimes, and it's relatively strong. But it's almost always just for the creature can't block. And then lastly, we have Frenzied Rage. Now, I was debating between Frenzied Rage and Knight's Pledge. They're functionally similar, except the +1 on the defense is not as important as getting the menace. You essentially trade 1 point of toughness for menace, and the evasion is much more important. The reason for this is our creatures are going to get relatively swole thanks to our auras and equipments, so we don't really care about that 1 extra point. We want to hit our opponent in the face. So the menace, the evasion on this is very helpful. And I think that, yeah, no, so we talked about Squire's Devotion, and then on Sayre's Wings, it gives flying. That's evasion. That's what really matters with this. It makes it legendary. 3 of our creatures are already legendary, and it makes the other ones legendary, which means, as I've said in previous videos, that it can't get hurt by cast down. Very strong. But give lifelink, good against the aggro decks. The fact that it has vigilance is better against the control decks because it means it can't get sealed away. Strong card, but since it is a legendary enchantment, you're only going to want 2 of them. That is it for our auras. We have a few, and I do mean a few, equipments. And that short sword, it's just very bare bones. It's just to make sure that we're triggering the cards that care about it. We have Blackblade Reforged. This scales really nicely. Unfortunately, it's better. It doesn't give any evasion or anything, and it's relatively expensive to equip to a non-legendary creature. Luckily, we have 3 legends, and On Sayre's Wings makes one of our creatures legendary, so it's not always going to be too terrible. But what's really important is that it doesn't give any type of evasion. So you're really going to want to play this on a card that has, for example, On Sayre's Wings, something that has Trample, which Champion of the Flame, but it scales nicely, and it's a total fine card. And lastly, we have Forebear's Blade. This gives Trample and Vigilance, things that we've already said are really good. But importantly, if the equipped creature dies, we get to, for free, attach it to a creature we control. Now, obviously, we don't have a ton of creatures, but if we, for example, play a Cartouche of Zeal, and then equip something with Forebear's Blade, we have a creature to already put that on. And that's very helpful. The fact that it gives Trample means that our other cards are more valuable because we're able to get through for some chip damage if we have to. So kind of strong card. Now, the lands are pretty basic. We don't have anything. We don't really want the Memorial to Glory because it does make creatures, but those creatures aren't very strong. We're almost never going to want to get to that point in the game where we need to do that, so that's why we didn't include that. You could theoretically play something like Field of Ruin or Zhalfirin Void to fix your draws or hate on your opponent's lands, but I didn't think that was necessary in this specific deck. Obviously, if you're able to, try and get the rare lands because it just makes your life a little bit easier. Going over to the sideboard and why we're not running some cards, essentially a lot of the creature cards we didn't add just because they just weren't strong enough. Yeah. yes, this has Menace, but we don't want to overload on creatures, and Champion of Flame as well as Adanto Vanguard are just better cards. Adanto because it can not die as easily, and Champion of Flame because it gets a better reward. Captain Lannery Storm is a hasty card. It's better in a super aggro deck. Squeeze nice because you get it back all the time, but constantly paying 3 to get it back is not where you want to be. Shock is still in here. The reason that we did not play the burn version is because I really wanted to have a high density of payoff cards. That does mean we're essentially have no removal. We functionally have no way to get rid of our opponent's creatures long term. We also don't have a lot of reach. If our opponent is able to stem our tide, completely get rid of our creatures, we're done. Even if we get them to 1 life, there's no real easy way in the deck. I mean, there's some weird tricks, but there's no real easy way to just burst them out of nowhere. So if you're finding that you're getting roadblocked a lot, and you find that you have an abundance of creatures or an abundance of aura or equipment effects, then you can trim on those and put in some lightning strikes. I don't suggest shocks; they just don't do enough. I would rather pay the 1 more mana for lightning strikes, but in this specific version, I didn't do that. And then we have Swashbuckling. The reason I chose Frenzied Rage over this is it has evasion, and the haste is almost never going to matter, especially after the first turn. It's absolutely not going to matter, so the times that you get value out of this is limited to none. Sigil Sword is a good equipment to put on the deck. The fact that it's a knight doesn't really matter. Giving it +2 is nice. The vigilance, as I've said, helps against steal away. But what's really important is when it attacks, you get more dudes. And this deck likes ways to get more dudes. Don't know what you put it in over, but it's a strong contender for a slot in the deck. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And as I remove cards from the sideboard, we will go into some games. The deck is not perfect. It definitely has weaknesses. That's why, I mean, the deck is played. It's a relatively popular deck, but obviously it's not played everywhere. And that's just because it's a very linear deck. Going against Darth Bob 666. Okay, sure. Yeah. We are going second. And this is what'll happen. A lot of payoff, but no creatures for it. I'm pretty sure you need to have a creature. I think you have to mulligan unless you have a creature. And we have a creature. And we have several creatures, actually, and a thing. So this is fine. That is fine, because I would like to be able to play Danitha. Alright, playing black. Let's see what our opponent does here. They decide to harsh scrutiny. Probably going to take our Danitha, is my guess. So I assume we're going up against mono black control. Gonna be a little difficult for us to deal with, to be honest. I got rid of the Novice Knight. That's fine, because I didn't have a turn 1 land anyway. Yeah, I don't know if I agree with that. Okay. Interesting. So interestingly, I can make it so the haste matters here. We don't want to give our opponent a big opening to kill this. So I think I'm just going to Novice Knight. Well, actually, I could Novice Knight Cartouche. The thing is, we don't get as much value, right? Like, putting it on here, it becomes a 3/4 with haste, but that's it. And this would become a 4/4 with trample. Yeah, I'll play it like this. So it looks like our opponent actually might be on... and our opponent, I believe, has complete information of our hand. Like, white-black life gain control, where they just try to wither us down. Wow, rude. I think we have to drop the champion, unfortunately. And maybe the Cartouche as well? We could drop the lands. Danitha is, like, helpful, because I think our opponent is going to try and, like, slowly drain us. And Danitha's lifelink mitigates that, so I think we drop... I think we might drop the land, which sounds so stupid, but I think it might be correct. These cards, I think, are just too strong. Ooh, and we got there with the land. That said, as I said, I think Danitha is too strong, so I want a player. I would rather lose the cartouche than lose Danitha, even if I'm not able to attack for a little bit. So let's see what our opponent does here. Sure, yeah, it looks like some drainy deck. Got another land. Let's go ahead and play this on the Danitha, because I assume Cast Down is more likely in our opponent's deck, as well as Fatal Push. So this can't get hit from either of those, at least immediately. Let us make it so that you can't block, I guess. But I got Vigilance, real helpful. And I'm just going to be gaining life, so I'm going to be gaining more life than my opponent is currently draining. I'm actually going to be gaining exactly the same amount. Fragmentize. All right. So when you're at this level, your opponent likely to play stuff like this. That's fine. Danitha still has first strike. Still going to be attacking. Sure. Sure. My opponent can block, but I'm going to be gaining life. Adanto Vanguard is helpful. Yeah, shut up. Yeah, so even though they can block, that's fine. I can just gain life. We are both essentially in top deck mode, so opponent can drain for 2 every turn. I would love to get a Blackblade. Didn't. Drew a land. Unfortunate. Definitely glad I discarded the land. But we're going to go in with everyone. Looks like they have removed for Danitha. Murdered. I cannot believe this. How dare you, sir? Yeah, that's fine. We just need, like, any aura, please. Oh, we're just top decking lands. Is that what this is? The top deck land fest? We drew 2 non-land permanents? Is that right? I'm gonna pass. There we go. Right? Because we had this, and this in hand. We drew these 2. We drew 2 non-land permanents. Everything else was a land. Come on. Step up your game, deck. Deck maybe should have 23 lands. Ow. This is painful. Hey, look, it's Valduk. So yeah, this is a very characteristic thing that can happen with this, is that you can just have all creatures or all auras, enchantment things, right? So unfortunate, but you know, it happens. I would love to get a lifelink card. Sure. If I can get a aura that gives lifelink to Adanto Vanguard, that would be helpful. The reason I would give it to Vanguard over Valduk is because... That's fine, I don't necessarily care. It's just because I assume that my opponent is more likely to have more murders in their deck, as opposed to things that would just exile. Hey look, it's Frenzied Rage. That said, I would rather Frenzied Rage go into Valduk. Yes. But I think my opponent has removal. That's unfortunate. Yep, and it's specifically murder. Darn. I guess I should have put it on Vanguard. It's unfortunate. 2. So it can't get drained this turn. I have to keep attacking. I can't block. I don't even know if I can pay 4 for that. I think I don't. So this is 2, 4, 3 turn clock. Really would love. Oh, that's not the good. I kept drawing lines. That's unfortunate. I drew like actually 2 non-land permanents that game. No, I drew 4 because I drew Valduk and Frenzied Rage. Unfortunate. Let us actually do a super quick modification. Go away. You know what? Actually, no. I wish there was a plus thing in the other view. Let's get rid of this. I don't need you. And let us throw in another short sword. Seems fine. Sure. There we go. Yeah, I mean the deck has a relatively low curve, so it's probably fine doing that. I typically don't like doing that with 5-drops, but going against Cat Spirit, you don't say. We're going first. Very nice. We have creatures, but no enchantments. That said, Adanto Vanguard is kind of fine by itself, so totally fine. Unfortunately, the better payoff cards are equipment. Ooh, opponent's a mulligan. Very nice. Just because you can reuse them if you're a mulligan down. You can reuse them if the creature dies. All right, well, this is not even a game. And our opponent's going to concede. I'm just waiting for it. Unfortunately, there aren't as many. What the heck? What? What? Okay. I'm so incredibly confused. And I'll play another one. I guess I could Valduk. Because Valduk is better. What the heck? Okay, sorry, I lost my train of thought. Right, equipments are better just because you can reuse them. Are you serious? I think he could have attacked there. I mean, I can just, like, block with the Adanto Vanguard and take 4 from it instead of 10. But, I do need to find something with... I need to find, like, Ansara's Wings in order to get through this. I don't have any removal in the deck. So... that's a thing. I guess that's why they mulligan. This is a... Alright. My opponent's deck is funny, but it's also bad. If I had a single piece of removal, like, their entire strategy is just gone. But I don't. Crap. What the heck? Alright, I need like exactly Ansara's Wings or something. Because I can block this and take 4, like, all day. I don't trust that at all. I mean, I have another one of these, so I guess I'll do that. Why didn't you do it to... Why didn't he attack with... What is happening? Okay, I'll take 3, sure. Why didn't you do it with that? I would have blocked there and took so much more damage. I have no idea. I guess it's because they didn't want me to attack him back. Block, take 4, attack for 9. Sure, I have no idea what's happening. I need Ansara's Wings, or I guess something. Oh, that's gone. Guess I'd put it on champion now. I think he should attack with the Dreadnought. I don't know. It's gonna give me time. I guess I could keep, like, chaining Cartouche of Zeals or something. What the heck, man? Oh my gosh, my opponent's deck is entirely built around getting this out early and then playing this on turn 3. That is so stupid. And we're going to lose to it. I still think he should be attacking me. Yeah, that's fine. Give me time to find Ansara's Wings. No attacks, please. What is happening? Hey, look, I found another chump blocker. This is so stupid. Give me an Onsera's Wings. So I can put it on Champion Flame and gain... Would it be a 7? Gain 7 life a turn. Hey, look, he attacked. I'm going to block with this. And the reason I'm going to block... Actually... 1, 2, 4... so he probably... Like, he attacked there. I assume he has another Build to Smash. It's take 10? Sure. I don't have enough damage to actually kill this, especially if he has one of those, which I'm certain that he does. Sure, same thing. My opponent is playing the stupidest deck. But he is tapped down. Maybe I can burst him? Ow. Ooh, got on Sarah's Wings. Alright. So I can definitely attack with Danitha and Champion. I don't think I can attack with the Vanguards, though. Well, he can't block this. He can block this. So this is guaranteed 7. Putting him to, what, 5? So he'd block one of these. Oh! I think he might actually just be dead if he doesn't have a shock. The problem is if he does have a shock, then I'm, like, utterly screwed. But right, okay, let me just make sure. So he'd go down to nope. Alright. Didn't have to get there. I can do math. He would have gone down 3, then 4. So he would have gone down to 6. He blocks a 3, and he only takes 5. No, so I wouldn't have actually killed him there. I would have figured that out, guys. I would have not attacked with everyone. But what the heck was my opponent playing? That's the weirdest thing. All right, I'm gonna buy a pack and try to make sense of the world. He mulliganed down to like 3 in order to have that one card, and then he had to draw into the card that made it alive. And then, if I had any removal, he would have been. What the heck? I'm so flabbergasted by what just happened. I mean, mad respect to the guy. It was a cool deck. I just think it's a little too. It's even weaker than our deck to removal, and that's saying something. Gosh. Anyway, I'd like to thank Ease Mode, Chris, Dizzy Fam, Radberry, Daniel, Flowerchild, Chow083 for the support. I can't get over that deck. For the support on Patreon. Their support allows me to keep buying packs and play the decks that you want to see. I'm also going to be playing the decks I want to see, but supporting on Patreon helps. If you would like to join them and supporting the channel, you can find the link to that in the description below. I hope you guys like that wackiness as much as I did. If you did, go ahead and tap that like button, add a subscription to your mana pool, and cast a comment in the comment section down below. And until next time, all will be one.